Alright, I'm gonna do another flight of the Decathlon today. And it's kind of a crappy lighting for a video, but the only time I got these days, and the days are so short, I have to make do. But the maiden went well the other day. I did fly it once more, but the video didn't really come out how I wanted. So I figured I'd sneak up today and try to get another video. And I had some issues with the maiden though. I had a Radiomaster R88 receiver in it, and which I'm a fan of Radiomaster. I use a TX16S. There's no issues there. But they recently updated their R88s to 1.2, I guess, or something. And they like support D16, D8, FHSS, whatever. And they're kind of crap. They're kind of junk. I've had two of them, and they both, I returned to the first one and got a replacement, and the second one is the one I put in here. And it was just garbage. It passed the pace test, but the whole time it was complaining about RSS, you know, signal low, critical, whatnot. So I made a bad decision and flew it anyway. But the entire time I'm like panicked that I'm going to lose signal, which is one of the reasons why I was flying it so tight in the pattern. And when I landed, it was a little extra level of relief. But yeah, so I switched out the receiver to an ELRS receiver, and flew it the other day, and it was perfect. I did this, I logged the flights, so I checked my logs, everything was great. So that's what we're going to fly with now. Got an elevator on low rates. I got some expo in the ailerons. Everything's going the right direction. Let's rock and roll. Yeah, yesterday I was flying this, and my brother came over right in the mid-flight, which is fine. But it was right when I went to go do some wide open throttle runs. I had not done anything wide open yet. And as soon as I went wide open throttle, I heard a click. I'm like, so I like panicked, and I didn't really fly that hard the rest of the flight. And when I played the video back, it turned out that my brother was opening the door on his truck right as I went wide open throttle, and it had nothing to do with the plane. So the plane's a little on the heavy side. I'm running 6S 5Ks in it. I got 4Ks on order. It's almost 8 pounds right now. It's 7.9 pounds. But it flies really nice. Doesn't seem to fly overly heavy, but when I get the 4Ks, it'll bring it down to about 7.5 pounds, which is obviously lighter is always better to a degree. And also with this heavier pack, I don't really have the ability to send the battery back any further. I'm all the way against the servo tray. And a lighter pack will give my CG back a little bit. It's pretty neutral right now. Inverted is pretty neutral, just a little bit of forward pressure to hold it inverted, and it flies pretty good inverted. See if we can do an outside loop here, or at least half an outside loop. But I think if the CG went back a little bit, it'll flatten the spin out a little bit. I was able to get a really nice flat spin out of it yesterday by cranking in some opposite aileron. Oh, I'm still on low rates. I like doing a little Humpty Bumpy and get into a spin. It's got plenty of power. I never really go over half, 3/4 throttle for the most part, but this is wide open. There's no shortage on power. It's got a Sunny Sky X3 3520 560 kV in it. Again, running on 6S. It's pretty locked in. There's almost no wind today, but yesterday it was kind of soupy. It was calm winds, but it was turbulent, so the plane was kind of getting knocked around. But it pretty much is a pretty amazing scale flyer. It flies in almost exactly like you watch the real thing fly. Obviously it has more power than the real thing, but it's pretty precise. It's way more precise than the Citabria that I have. Citabria has a little bit too small of a tail for its size, so it ends up having a lot of tail wag. Like when you come out of a roll, it likes to wag its tail. Nice tight circles. I haven't really had it do any kind of accelerated stall where it would drop a wing or do anything asymmetric. It'll slow down nice too. Like I'll slow it down nice and slow. It does start to wing rock a little bit. There it goes. It does drop a wing, but unload the wing and she starts flying again, which is to be expected with the Decathlon. It's got a shorter wing than a Citabria and it's semi-symmetrical airfoil. There's a lot of rudder authority on it, so knife edges are pretty solid. It's a little bit of coupling with any kind of high wing plane, but as with any of these short fuselage planes, rudder and elevator is very powerful when you have them on high rates. Still figuring out what it needs for like 4-point rolls and stuff. I'm still playing with expo settings. Yeah, that was pretty craptastic right there. Seems pretty strong. I haven't had anything. I checked it over after the first couple of flights and everything seems in place. As I say, the couple design changes from the original pilot design with a wing tube, this carbon fiber wing tube. The original design made the struts 100% functional, which I wasn't happy with, so I made a wing tube design. So the struts are functional, but you know, if a strut came loose, it would still fly fine. Like I think it would actually fly fine without the struts. Just the struts add that extra level of strength to it. I don't like relying on struts, at least on these guys. I know the real planes do, but one bolt comes loose, there goes the plane. The wing seems strong. The only thing I messed up on was the landing gear. I used the wrong material. I got the right material. I think it's coming tomorrow. Oh, my buzzer's coming off. I have it set for 8 minutes right now, which is still on the low side for this big battery. I'm assuming once I get the 4Ks, I'll be closer to 6.5, 7 minutes. Well, we'll see if we can bring it in here. Keep on the throttle a little bit. Alright. Oop, little nose over there. But the landing gear is the raw material, so it bends just looking at it. That was a pretty smooth landing, so it was fine. But if you have any kind of bump or hiccup of any kind, it'll bend. So I got the more of a spring steel, not spring steel, but you know, higher temper landing gear material, aluminum coming that I can cut. All right, I'm gonna put another battery in and take it up for another flight. All right, flight 2 here. I'm gonna put 2 batteries today because it's getting dark quick. I didn't put lights in a Decathlon, mainly because I felt like wouldn't be the best night flyer because it does require a little more attention. It does fly a little bit faster than the Citabria, which has full lights. I have the Citabria set up with nav lights and the whole plane lights up. But yeah, we'll go for flight 2 here. Everything's still good. This track's pretty straight on takeoff. I only need a tiny bit of left rudder to keep it straight on takeoff. She tumbles pretty nice. I wouldn't want to be in the plane when it's doing that. But yeah, I absolutely been dreaming of this plane for about 3 years. I've been in the hobby since the 90s, but I was a kid then and I didn't really know, unless it was in tower hobbies, I really didn't know about it. And I didn't learn about pilot until a couple years ago when I got back in the hobby. And so once I learned about this and how scale it was, I was like, I gotta have one. So I was on the hunt for an original kit, and finally someone offered one to me at a decent price. And what I did is I got myself a laser cutter because I've been wanting to for years. And I took all the original parts out of the kit and I scanned them all, traced them all by hand, and then I did a little reworking because even though the die cutting on pilot kits is damn near laser cutting quality, the parts weren't exactly fully symmetrical. So I cleaned everything up, made them all perfectly symmetrical. And so this is a pilot Decathlon, but I use 0 parts from the original kit. It's all new wood, all new material, all laser cut. I am potentially going to offer some short kits. I got a couple people lined up that want some short kits of it that are going to be potentially guinea pigs. I mean, this is obviously a guinea pig plane here, just to stress it out, make sure it stays together, and everything that I changed in design wise is okay. If you want to build the original pilot kit, which is fuel only basically, I submitted all my hand tracings of the original parts before I reworked them to outer zone, so they're all on there. So you could essentially hand cut and build your own, because kits for these pilot kits, the prices for these pilot kits is not going down by any means. So if anything happens to this, I can just load up my cut files and cut a new kit, and off I go running. Fiberglass Specialties sells the cowl and the wheel pants for it, which are just about perfect. And I do want to make my own molds at some point, so I can make my own cowls and canopies and stuff. And I want to get into vac forming and all that fun stuff, kind of become my own, make any kit I want. I have the Pilot Christian Eagle 1, which is also a quote-unquote 40 size plane. That'll be one of the next ones that I do the similar process to, where it's all documented and you can always build a new one if something happens. Because if we don't preserve these designs, eventually they're all going to get built and we won't have any left. So if you have a rare kit, if you don't want to do it or know someone that would be able to do it, it'd be awesome to preserve those designs so they can kind of live on, even though the companies don't either don't make it anymore or the companies are long gone. Because obviously the golden age of kit manufacturers through the 90s and early 2000s is long gone. Probably getting pretty dark. Probably can't see the poor thing. It is based on, I did end up, the color scheme is based on RJ Gritter's Decathlon. When I was in the middle of building this, I kind of discovered his flying of the full scale. I remember him from the RC days. He came from flying RC planes. And then I found some of his routines flying his 150 horsepower Decathlon, and he just does amazing stuff with his plane. And I was like, I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do for a trim scheme. So I had some metallic blue and kind of copied his plane, although his just went in for restoration, so chances are it's not going to look exactly the same as this. But man, these batteries are big. I still got 2 minutes left. I don't know. I'm curious to see what it'll fly with the lighter packs. I need the lighter packs anyway for some of my other planes, so if I don't see much difference in how it flies with the lighter packs, I'll probably keep flying the bigger packs for this, just because it gives it that extra flight time, especially if it's the only plane I bring to the field. It is a little bit big. It's one of my bigger planes. It's 67 inches. I do have bigger planes to build, but at the current moment in time, this is the biggest. It will stall the wing on a negative maneuver. If you just saw, I don't know if you saw that there, but that was a little bit too much forward pressure on the inverted, and it did, but it didn't snap, so that's always good. But it will, because the wing is installed just like the full scale, with 1 degree of positive incidence, so it's got a wonky angle of attack when you're inverted compared to right side up. But positive G maneuvers, no problem. But it will do it. You just got to go past the stall if you really wanted to get it to tumble. Or and snaps are nice and clean. I'm still over rotating them. I got to figure out when to stop the snap. She's a powerhouse. It's probably the most powerful plane I got, besides my Skybolt. But that's also a pound heavier. These Sunny Sky motors are really nice. Oh, there's my timer again. So let's see if we can bring it in again. All right, it's getting a little dark. It's kind of beyond the scope of where I should be flying with no lights. But should be all right. kind of settles in nice. A little fast, wheel landing. Just turn and avoid the tall grass. And I'm scared of the landing gear, so until I get the good landing gear on here, I can be kind of landing a little bit fast and trying to settle it in nice and smooth before I start trying to get some shorter landings that might be a little harder on the landing gear, because I'm tired of bending them back. But that's, I don't know, I guess I'll join these videos together, and there'll be two flights of the Decathlon, but it's an amazing color. It's a shame they don't make it anymore. It's monocoat metallic blue, so if you can find some rolls of it, it looks absolutely amazing. The way the sun kind of gleams off it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's an instant favorite. It's everything that I dreamed it would be, and hopefully I'll be able to provide some kits and get more of these out there. All right, that's it for now.